Bible was there where did dinosaurs fit in? That's a good question, isn't it? Well, I brought some dinosaur dental floss with me. It's one of the oldest tricks ever invented because it uses dinosaur dental floss. You know, there are dinosaurs today, like turtles and alligators. And it says in the Bible that God created every creature that creeps on the earth. So, they were also created as adults. That was one of the questions I had too. What came first, the chicken or the egg? Because eggs come from chickens and chickens come from eggs, so eggs come from chickens. What was first? It was the chicken, actually. I thought it was the egg too until somebody said, well, where do eggs come from? And then I said, oh, it must have been the chicken. And they said, where do chickens come from? But God doesn't lay an egg. God created every creature on earth as an adult, just like Adam and Eve were created as adults. So now if you're walking down the street and someone whispers from behind a bush, "Psst, what was first, the chicken or the egg?" You can say the chicken, because the magician told us so. No, because it says so in the Bible. It's funny when I tie the ends of the dental floss together and blow on the ends come off. I think I'll save them for later in case I need them. Now I have a loop. I better put the ends back on. Then I can show you my favorite rope trick. It's actually a rope. I don't know if you knew that. There. I'll show you the cut and restored rope trick. That's my favorite rope trick. I think I have my pretend scissors right here. Right here. Uh-oh. You're supposed to say what? When I say uh-oh, you say what? Wait till I say uh-oh. They rushed me. Uh-oh.
What?
Good what? I forgot my pretend scissors. Does anybody have pretend scissors I could borrow?
Yeah.
Do you have pretend scissors? Sir, will you cut the rope right there on the count of 3? 1, 2, 3. Good job. Very good. Now we have 2 pieces of rope, exactly the same size. Only this one's a little shorter than this one. So let's start over again with a long, strong piece of rope. I'll show you how the ends can travel from here to here. That's the first one. Doesn't that look weird? Here's the second one, back to the beginning with a long, strong piece of rope, which is, of course, examinable. Sir, will you check out that rope? I got another rope in my pocket. It's not quite as long, but it's just as strong. And I can tie a knot in this rope with one hand really fast. You want to see? A one-handed knot. Did you ever try to do that? Tie a knot in a rope with one hand? I can do it. I read it in the book and I practiced it. I'll show you. Like this. Like that. Isn't that cool? It's harder than it looks. But I can do it even faster with a little pressure. And I'd like you to apply the pressure for me. I will now attempt to tie a knot in this rope with one hand faster than you can say, Jesus loves me. Ooh. See, I beat you, didn't I? Maybe it was a tie. What do you think? It was a tie.
Were you in Boy Scout?
What?
Were you in Boy Scout?
Boy Scouts?
Yeah.
That's where I learned a lot of my rope tricks. Yeah. Were you in Boy Scouts?
Yeah, I used to be.
Do you know how to tie a square knot?
Yeah, I used to.
That's where I learned, in the Boy Scouts. I'll show you. I'll show everybody. But will you check out this rope, please? I got another rope somewhere in my pocket, I guess. Oh yeah, it's not quite as long, but it's just as strong. I can make this rope disappear. It's gone. Not really. It's over here behind my trick knee, my other trick knee. Will you check out that rope, please? Do you have? Who has the long rope? Oh, you do. Will you toss it up to me on the count of 3, please? 1. It's my fault. I need to learn to count faster. Who has it? Oh, you have the medium one? Just toss it up here on 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Good job. And I think I'll just come over and get that one. 3 different ropes, 3 different sizes. I'll put the ends together. They've been examined by fine members of the audience. That's an important point. I'll put the ends together like this, and I'll wave my hand like that. Will all of you please help me by waving your hand clockwise? Now please snap. I like that sound. And all 3 ropes become exactly the same size, the examined ropes. That's 1, that's 2, that's 3 equal ropes. 2 shapes back. opposite direction and snap backwards. This is a regular snap and this is a backward snap. And there we have it, the small one, the medium one, and of course, the long one. I almost forgot to show you how to tie a square knot. We were talking about Boy Scouts and a square knot. This is how you tie a square knot. First it's right over left. How many of you know how to tie a square knot? I'm just curious. I know how. A few of us do. How many of you do not know how to tie a square knot? Will you raise your hand? Just put your hands down. I don't want to leave anyone out. How many of you will not raise your hand no matter what? I knew Don would raise his hand. All right, here's how you tie a square knot. First it's left over right, then it's right over left, or you can go right over left and left over right, and that's a square knot. And you know how you can tell? You're supposed to say how.
How?
By looking at it. That's a square knot, isn't it? Right? Pretty square. Would you like to see a card trick? Do we have any card players in the audience? Yeah? Not really? Anybody play cards? Do you? Me too. A little bit. May I ask your name, please?
Yelena.
Yelena? Will you please join me right here? We will do some card magic. I say card magic. It's a card trick. Would you please look at the cards? Take your time. Please feel free to cut them or shuffle them or mix them up. Whatever you're comfortable with. Just don't disturb the order of the cards. Thank you very much. Elena, as I run my finger along the edge of the deck like this, about this speed, the edge of the examined shuffle deck, please say stop.
Stop.
Do you see that card?
Yes.
Please think about it. Did you see it? It's okay, I'll tell you what it is. That's my job. If I were to guess the color of that card, I'd guess it to be red. That's only if I were to guess. I know it's black because one card has traveled from the deck to my pocket. Will you please name your card out loud?
5.
There it is, the 5 of clubs.
Wow.
This time, thank you for that round of indifference. This time I brought the cards like this, about this speed. And once again, Yelena, will you please say stop?
Stop.
Notice I stopped right when she said stop. Please look at this card. I'll show everyone. I know it's not the 5 of clubs because I left the 5 of clubs on the bottom, right? But with 2 cuts and a snap, her card comes to the top. She won't believe it. Will you please put your hand like this? You won't believe this. The card you stopped me on was the 7 of spades, right?
No.
I told you she wouldn't believe it. But I have in my pocket, I have a string. That's not the surprise, because you already knew that was there. I also have a card. Do you know what it is? It's the 7 of spades. What's in your hand? The 6 of spades is in your hand. That's magic, huh? Will you please put your initials on it, nice and big, so when everyone sees it again, they'll know for sure, without a doubt, it's the same card. Yes, please. That's a permanent marker, by the way. I used to say it on there, but it rubbed off. It wasn't very permanent on the outside. There's her name and her writing in permanent marker. I'll take that. That's how I got it. Now let's recap. I've recapped. A card was selected. It came out to be the 6 of spades. It has her name. I place it in the center of the deck. Will you push that card all the way into the deck? When I snap, it goes to the top. Now we go from the top to the bottom. It's on the bottom. Now for the hard part. It's back on the bottom. When I say ISI, it goes right where I want it to. Now it'll disappear, but before it disappears, do you see your name in your writing? Now you see it. Now you don't. Believe it or not, in my shoe is a folded up card. It's folded in my shoe. Could it be the 6 of spades with your initials and your name? It is. sleight of hand. That's sleight of foot. And you get to keep that. It's a souvenir.